Jai Hind viewers, we bring to you today another interview with one of our very eminent members of our forum. MRO Digest Forums is now completing 1 year, and we are bringing to you interviews with our members. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us Mr. Pradeep Gupta, who is a technocrat and an ex-bureaucrat. He left the government of India to set up a think tank, security and policy initiatives to work for absorption of defense ToTs and improvement of border management. He's also mentoring startups in AI, VR, and AR. He is ex-OSD indigenization, MOD, ex-Joint Secretary MHA, ex-PS2 President, and ex-OSD and PS2 Defense Minister. He has been a very prominent part of our videos, and he has given expert views and in numerous topics. The videos on which he has spoken are all available on our YouTube channel. He has spoken on MRO synergies, absorption of ToTs, Make in India with MRO as a focus, best practices in L1 systems, LCC-based acquisition, and of course on the occasion of the National Technology Day. We were very fortunate, and I'm thankful to Major General Dr. Ashok Kumar, who was already in touch with Mr. Pradeep Gupta. I'm grateful to General Ashok for introducing me to Mr. Pradeep Gupta. And from that day, I realized that I'm talking to somebody who is very passionate about taking India forward, doing whatever is there within his powers to help the country make progress based on his very vast experience. So, Mr. Pradeep Gupta, we welcome you to this interview. And to get the interview started, my first sort of a request for you is, MRO Digest Forum is completing its first year. Please share your experience of your journey so far on this platform. Mr. Pradeep Gupta, please.
Thank you, General Matharu, for your very kind words and encouraging words. I'll try my best to come up to your expectations and to the expectations of the MRO Digest. Your question is very good that you asked that how has been my experience. If I look back almost 1 year, though it is slightly less than 1 year, but then I look my journey, how I traveled with the MRO Digest. It has been very, very exciting and full of learning. Every day I learn in the messages what we get and in the website what you have created, new articles that come, and very deeply engrossing articles. And I'm little surprised that how the MRO Digest gets hold of such good articles, leads from all over the world. The best practices you are filtering down for the information of all of us. And sometimes when I read through these things and when I take a comprehensive view, I feel that I'm quite abreast of the lot what we are interacting with. This is the very good thing what MRO Digest is doing. There is lot of enthusiasm in the entire community, and every officer member of this group is ready to contribute in either through the participation in the webinars, discussions, solo interviews, etc., and by contributing to various articles too. So this is where the thought processes of the members are pooled without any much of effort. Everybody is coming. So this is one beauty of the MRO Digest, that it is getting the best out of all its members from the group. This is best, I think, it can be done by any forum which is not supported by any other outside sources. It's all internal, and it's courtesy General Matharu and his team. And we have recently seen that Rahul Matharu's interview, that how they have done it. So this is my experience with this MRO Digest so far. I wish MRO Digest all the best in times to come. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for saying all that. But as you are well aware, you're yourself heading a think tank and doing so much more. We have heard you on national television. You're a very prominent person there also on these issues. So we are very fortunate that a person of your stature is a member of our forum. And you will agree with me that platforms like these are really the sum total of their members. The purpose of the platform is very simple: to provide a platform to MRO professionals who yourself, in your words, I remember in one of your talks you had mentioned that by virtue of their very close association with equipment, maintaining equipment all their lives, they are in a position to give a lot of very good advice, not only in maintenance, but also on other aspects, for example, like design itself or so many other issues. That's what you have said once. So actually, our members, and we are especially very thankful to you for contributing with all your heart and for giving so much of your time to us in your busy schedule. So now that you are one of our very prominent members, we look towards you also to suggest to us that, what we need to do as we are moving into our second year to take forward this forum, and what would you would like to say to us that the other areas which you may like us to focus on. Your views, please, Mr. Gupta.
Thank you, General Matharu. I wish that the MRO Digest Forum to grow at a double the speed what it has seen in the first year of its existence. Certainly, the topics what we are picking up in the discussions are very relevant. We'll see in the forthcoming months. I'll just suggest that we can take some few case studies, even from the past experiences of the officers, some successful case studies, some failure case studies, and those can be dissected, and a discussion can happen, like one officer presents his case. Maybe the other officers of the other forces also may not have seen it, but then they will learn from it, or they will contribute. They'll show us some other perspective that this problem could have been handled like this. So that's the thing, without divulging any of the sensitive details. That is one. Another, what I was just thinking, it came to my mind that since MRO Digest has created a good mark for itself in the very first year, and more than what usually such think tanks are doing, we can collaborate with the other MRO forums in India. There is one MRO association established sometime in 2011 or 10 in Mumbai. So we can have some joint sessions with them. They are also MRO specialists, and we also have the defense exposure. So this is where we can think of carrying forward our objectives and discussion in collaboration mode. Not only MRO association, there could be some other entities working on MRO. So we can actively propose to them. Another is that since you have told that other such forums, I am myself handling one think tank which is working in a niche area of defense transfer of technology and the border management, which I felt that are quite understudied. MRO, you are taking it to the next level, though it is understudied, but then since already forums are existing, and it is more on civilian domain, not in the defense domain. I think for the defense, MRO Digest is the only forum. Yes, maybe MRO Association, which is there in Mumbai, is doing something for defense, but it is a byproduct, or maybe not in their mainstream subjects. So here we can have the way this MRO Digest has taken up in this very first year. I really appreciate and feel that it is above the normal levels of the such think tanks, which even I am trying to learn from the, though I had created this forum, my security and policy initiatives in 2021, October. And it was mentored by Mr. Shekhar Dutt, the ex-defense secretary, Dr. Sithanu Pillai, and the father of BrahMos missile, as well as Mr. Arvind Gupta, who is now director of Vivekanand Foundation. So we are not able to push it so fast like the MRO Digest has done. And it's happened because you had led the team from front, number one. Number two, all the members are very enthusiastic to contribute. So this is where the difference has been there. And if all the members are contributing with their best efforts, I am sure that nothing will stop them to create a mark in times to come. I think within 3 to 4 years, MRO Digest will be a well-known name in the MRO forums, at least for the defense subjects. So this is what I feel that it has been there. That too, without any support. There are so many think tanks, but then they have tremendous supports from outside. MRO Digest doesn't have support. So I compare with the apple with apple rather than with anything else. So that way, it has much above the other think tanks in this area. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, Mr. Gupta. Well, yes, it's whatever we have managed to achieve in the last year is because of our members. And what my effort is that I, along with Mr. Rahul Matharu, who is providing the technical support, his company actually, who are also there with him. So what that really makes my job a little easier. So it's not as if I'm without support. To be honest, I'm getting a lot of support from Handy Solver. And so now that is leaving me to, do what I am doing. And actually, my job has become very easy. And it's become easy because of you and other members who are participating and sharing their wisdom with such enthusiasm for the benefit of the nation. And so, honestly, because I have been in this field for close to 4 decades of my life, right from the junior most level to senior places. So interaction with people during interviews or panel discussions, like what we're having right now, becomes is not that difficult because it's just what you did all your life. So you're talking about that. And in fact, I am astounded by what knowledge is brought to panel discussions which we have had by the variety of members. And certainly you have made a very important point regarding case studies. I think that's something we will pursue. Maybe we can sit down, have a roundtable with the like-minded members and come to some format, and you can advise us and we will do with that. This seems to be a very good idea. In fact, there was something like that which happened in our interview. Two particular talks which come to my mind right away, which can be converted into not only case studies but workshops. The one was building trust in MRO organizations, done by Major General K. Iswaran, where he actually explains how he, in a large defense industrial establishment, did this complete competition where he gave prizes for honesty and integrity. Now, that's a beautiful case study, and it can be converted into a discussion or maybe a workshop for middle-level management. And the second thing which comes to my mind is what Brigadier YVR Vijay, who also served in the very high levels in the corporate sector, has given this talk on KPIs. Now, that is actually what he has given is an entire thing which he did So these two come to mind. I think we could maybe build initial case studies on these two, and maybe also look at workshops. And certainly, I think there's a lot of material which we can now, which you can also suggest out of that, your own talks for that matter, your own rich experience, and you have done so much. And so case study certainly, and I would take it beyond. I would say that not only defense but all sectors we could look at case study. We got members from all sides because the MRO is a similarities exist. You will agree. And this other point which you make of collaboration is absolutely there. And we are very happy amongst the viewers if anybody feels that the material which they see is of use to them and they feel that we can collaborate with them. We'll be very happy to do that because our aim is very simple. Our aim, which we state again and again, is that first and foremost give a MRO platform, which we are doing, and we are doing it through articles, through videos, through podcasts. And the second thing which we are doing is that we want to do everything which is there within our wherewithal to help this huge potential which we carry as a nation to contribute to the expertise of MRO professionals, to contribute and enhance our comprehensive national power. Because if you look at comprehensive national power, as we have given in a couple of talks, MRO aspect touches a large number of, very fairly big number of the components of comprehensive national power. So collaboration is very much there on the cards. And so what comes to my mind right away is that, if we can contribute very good speakers to any webinars or seminars which they are doing, they are welcome. Anybody who wishes to collaborate with us is welcome to look at our material, get in touch with our members directly, because we are giving the links to the profiles of all our members in every talk. So everybody is equal in MRO Digest Forums. And I am more like a catalyst and a facilitator, which happily I am able to do because of the tremendous amount of effort with all of you do and share your wisdom. So we look forward to collaboration. And over here, I would also take this opportunity. You mentioned, as I also in the introduction, I had mentioned about this wonderful think tank which you are steering, and that is security and policy initiatives. And I had the privilege of attending some of your webinars, and they were absolutely, the one on drones, for example, recently. It was a absolutely amazing webinar. So if you could tell us and our viewers now, since we are already collaborating, isn't it? So here we are, two think tanks. You are leading a think tank. I am doing what I am doing, as I just mentioned. And so you tell us that what are the good things you noticed, if you can give this a name of collaboration between these two think tanks, or whatever name you want to give, coming together of these two think tanks, and what are the things which you feel are emerging out of this collaboration between our think tanks, and maybe how that can be a guide to other think tanks or whatever organizations who feel that they can come in touch, collaborate with us in the manner which you're saying. So your views on that with our interactions, and how you think this collaboration will happen, and which are the strengths which we carry, which will be useful to other organizations. If you could give your views on that.
Thank you, General Masaru, for this excellent question. Here, I'd like to refer to one of my earlier interactions in the MRO Digest, wherein I mentioned about how the MRO personnel at the lowest level and at the highest level are exposed to the technicalities of any system. Say you are getting a fighter aircraft from abroad, and there is no technology transfer. So some bit of maintenance has to be done by the MRO personnels. They are the first people who see. There are people who operate the equipment is aside. They know how to operate, but the inside technical parameters, inside how the engine functions, how the engine is maintained, how the spare parts are changed, that is where the learning experience starts. And in my forum, I had been literally working on absorbing the transfer of technology, what is happening in this country. Transfer of technology is specific to the defense equipments. Mainly, I'm focusing that there are very good cases in outside defense, which I'll be mentioning in the due course time. But then, as far as defense is concerned, bulk of our conventional weapons are imported from abroad. Very few, except we have got very good success in missiles, as you know, in space and nuclear, and we can match them. But regarding the conventional defense equipment, either the seaborne platform or the airborne or the land system, most of it is imported. And some are certainly being manufactured in India, but then a lot of equipment every year is being imported. Every year when you are importing equipment, you have to learn about that equipment. And I feel that is the shortest way, quickest way. When I'm exposed to that equipment, and I must put all my wherewithal to learn maximum out of it, not doing simply routine maintenance of the equipment. So they are the first responders to this particular transfer of technology, and they can guide the people who are in the this domain of handling technology aspect, that how and why this has happened. They are very most important and essential component of the setup, which will be there to absorb the technology. So that is where in the broad sense, the collaboration, or you say that the complementary aspect of these two forums is there. I'm mentioning about this futuristic deal, which is going to happen very shortly, maybe 10 days later, about the General Electric fighter aircraft, General Electric engine for the jets. So if you see, jet engines are the most complex engineering pieces on Earth. And there, when the technology transfer happens, right? So this is one opportunity. And our officers who have been exposed to these GE engines earlier, they can be some sort of can give us some head start in handling this technology. Though the engine will be made in HAL or wherever it is done, but the maintenance personnel are very, very important. And if we miss them, then we had it. I can tell it that we must never miss the MRO personnel's involvement in this particular handling of this technology of the jet engine. So this is one aspect I'm telling. Similarly, for the naval, yes, Navy is quite ahead, I see, and they have been able to make the aircraft carrier also. They have been able to make submarines also, and several other equipments, which other forces are also trying their best to catch the race. So this is where the absorption of technology examples we can build up with the help of MRO personnel. This is one area of collaboration. Another is the technical subjects which you handle, like you have a very good session on additive manufacturing. You had about the EVs and other subjects. So all these are part of the technologies. You have recently done the disruptive technologies and the MRO. And AI, AR, VR, everything is playing a great amount of disruptive technology. Like one disruptive technology in the TOT absorption, what I had been mentioning, is the usage of virtual reality tools in visualizing any complex equipment. If you see Rolls-Royce, I read a few days ago that Rolls-Royce is deploying quantum computing to study the computational fluid dynamics, CFDs, of the complex jet engine. I don't know whether GE has done or not, but Rolls-Royce has taken up this task, and they are developing a separate quantum computing system of 32 qubit to handle those complex equations and come up with some improvement in the jet engine technology. Now, this is where if we have forward-looking systems, at least in this forum, we can generate and throw ideas. Yes, I may not be able to do it practically, implement it on ground, But then these ideas can be then thought of by, because first and foremost task of any forum or the think tank is to generate ideas. So I think MRO Digest and in the SAPI also, we are trying our best. MRO Digest is quite ahead, I would say, in generating a lot of ideas. And if somebody is not making use of it, then it is their problem. But the lot of ideas are being generated, and hope the environment is picking up those ideas and going ahead that yes, this particular thing was discussed by the eminent veterans of this three forces. And you have also held the international webinar recently. So it's a cross transfer of knowledge from one country to other. That is one. And the amongst the think tank, that is really a very attractive thing. And I'm sure that whatever path we have traced in the first year and in the years to come, this will all strengthen and make MRO Digest grow, because the enthusiasm, positiveness, etc. is always there. And think tanks like SAPI and other think tanks also are ready to support you all and gain it also from the discussions being held in the MRO Digest. Thank you.
Thank you very much, actually, for laying out for our viewers that where are the areas where we can possibly be of help. Now, this aspect of understanding and equipment. Now, I'll tell a little story here, which may put across the way I look at it. See, the way they were many years back in the late 80s, when I was a young man, I was tasked as part of a team to look at the retrofitting of a T-72 engine into the Vijayanta tank. So we did it. Now, and it was a sort of a success in the sense the retrofitted tank did a lot of meterage in trials. And it was done by MCEME, premier EME's premier training institution, and a lot of work subsequently and improvement and design was done in one of our Army base workshops, which looked after A vehicles. Earlier we used to have both Western Bloc and Eastern Bloc. Example here is that we are taking an engine of a Eastern Bloc, putting into a Western Bloc tank. Now, the question which arises, of course, I went for my master's to the Royal Military College of Science, Shrivanam, and so that prepared me with the element of design, in the sense that what is expected of a transmission driveline, so how do we match it? So that those aspects, no doubt, I did it in my master's. But to tell you the other aspect is that in our training during those days, we used to take a lot of pride, young officers, when we were detailed on what we used to call them equipment courses. Because you see, as a soldier, you know that the regiment or the battalion with which you are is going to look at you, because you are the expert. And in the middle of nowhere, if something goes amiss, you are expected to deliver. And so there was no leeway there. So we used to take a lot of pride in doing well in these courses, and our instructors were so good. And we remember each one of them. I'm not only talking about officers, I'm talking about junior commissioned officers, non-commissioned officers. They were really amazing instructors. And so that knowledge of the equipment, that means when you know the tank inwards and outwards, backwards you know the tank, that is the key, like you have been saying. So that's how if we succeeded in as a team to repower the Vijayant with the T-72 engine, it was also largely because of this detailed knowledge of equipment which we impart. So I totally agree with you that we can, as MRO professionals, do a lot. And so we are available to anybody who's listening to this interview over here and wants to get in touch with us. So we can do that. And the thing which now also is emerging is that with us now becoming the 5th largest economy, and an exporter of systems. And I also take this view that the crucial thing is to be integrate or to design a system and to integrate it. It doesn't really matter where the parts are coming from, because they can be replaced. I give this example that during Second World War, the Sherman tank had 4 different engines, including an aircraft engine fitted in it. So it really is, once you have integrated a system. Let's take a tank, which my specialization is. If you are able to put together a tank, and tomorrow you are not happy with an engine, or you're not happy with the transmission or a particular component, you can always source it from somewhere else. As long as the complete design is yours, you can do a lot. So now I see, fortuitously, and with a lot of pride actually, that everywhere we are succeeding in so many ways. It doesn't matter what is the content which is indigenous or not. It's our aircraft, it's our ship, it's our tank, because we made it. So I feel that with this now coming through, and we are now exporting, and we are sending our equipment abroad, this equipment which is going abroad needs to be maintained. Or the people, wherever it is being sent, they have to be trained to maintain it. And with the present advent of technology, we can do a lot, even sitting in India, to train, by using the AI, AR, VR, and we can have some nucleus people there. So we are open as a forum to even such things. We would love to help any private company or anybody for that matter who is into this, and they feel that people in our forum are. So I'm sure we can at least give some pretty good advice, and it's all for the country. So we are there. We are there for people who want to talk to us. So I think we should we will be open to that, for MRO as MRO experts, to anybody who wants to talk to us. So with that in mind, maybe I'll request you to just say that what do you see that which are the areas where we can move in to support the export of equipment when it is going out? How can we contribute to the MRO efforts of that while it's being put together here, and also when it's moves out to the friendly foreign nations whom we are exporting to? Yes, Mr. Gupta, please, your views on that.
Before I reply to your last question, the very pertinent point you raised about the comprehensive system design. If you see in SAPI, this thing what I mentioned, that we must focus on comprehensive system design, because the designer knows from where he has picked up the engine, from where he has picked up the air conditioning system, from where he has picked up this, that, all the components, sighting system, or for that matter, firing system. So in case of crisis, if that is to be replaced, he knows the equations and how the alternative system is to be juxtaposed in that position and then perform. So first and foremost is to have the knowledge of the comprehensive system. Yes, 10, 15 years ago, this was not possible. And we were going in the traditional track, like learning from basics, that A, B, C, D, and all these steps. And then thereafter, you will get into this, the comprehensive system design was the last step. But now with the availability of the disruptive technologies, what you like to mention about the virtual tools, the AR, VR, and the AI and other quantum computing too, you can virtually simulate or create a system, maybe part of the system or whole system itself, and then change the components, try the permutation combination. You have to have knowledge about the fluid dynamics, the simulation, so many other finite method analysis, and all these things. And Indians are very good in this thing. Here, the collaboration with academia also will be involved. And yes, there are many armed forces officers who are going for higher studies. As you yourself mentioned, you have yourself done courses, and nowadays they are doing still better courses nowadays in the cutting edge technologies. They can put to use in this effort, or maybe the collaboration with the academia, to come up with this mathematical modeling of those systems and then try it. So once the designer's design is frozen, he knows, and that is accepted virtually, then you first create an equipment of that in physical form. Maybe in one or maybe two iterations that is done and can be then launched. That's his system for the trials and prototype. Wherein this particular step used to take a decade or slightly less than a decade earlier times. Now it can be done in 2 years time or maybe 1.5 years time, and very, very less cost or fraction of a cost, because you don't have to physically make those components. So you have to mathematically see that how that systems can be represented. So the technology is existing in world now, where they are able to simulate the entire heart of a human being on an electronic chip. In Harvard University, I am done one course in Harvard University. So they took us to the one Harvard Medical School, and there we had a session. So they are simulating, they call it organs on chip. So when the technology has come to this level, these materials like the equipments, engines or aircraft or anything can be created in the virtual mode. So this is where the comprehensive system design technology must be pursued like anything right now by the Indian system. Be the army designers or the naval designers or the air force designers, as well as the private industry and the academia. And that I'm sure that the ecosystem itself will evolve one day from India, that why cannot we make that component in India or the substitute of it? Because the designer knows that what other equipments say, I'm just now, we can design a system where it has the best of the components from world over. Obviously, everybody knows that everything you cannot make under the one umbrella. But there is a sanction from that particular country. Designer knows that very well. Yes, okay, no problem. We'll use this component in this. Why to, if they have imposed sanction, let it go. Doesn't matter. I can use this and all our performance characteristics will be maintained. So this is where the kind of things we can depend. Say if the prices are too high of that particular part by that country or by that company, we can shun it and adopt something else. So that's why the designing knowledge is very important, what you rightly mentioned about it. Now, coming to that, the questions that how the design knowledge, whatever we are gaining, is to be taken up in the equipment system performance. This is where I think MRO Digest experience debate discussions can give us deep insights into, and we are doing the same in MRO Digest, that though we are collecting the knowledge in like just now, but at the same time in our discussions what we have here, some technical discussion forums going deep into the system, like across the domains also, like you see there are inputs being shared from the windmills, from the non-renewable energy, so or from other ship building, or from the aircraft operations or maintenance, and the tanks also. I don't think that presently there is any such system even in the armed forces together, where the officers of the three forces pool their know-how and then come up to some conclusion. Here it is happening, though it is in beginning stages, but I am sure that it will bear fruit in times to come.
Thank you very much for that. I'm sure a lot of things are now moving in the right direction. There's an ecosystem which is there, enabling us through Make in India and now Atmanirbhar Bharat. These things are all moving us in the right direction and giving an impetus for us to maybe collaborate and come together, and as you rightly said, to be able to have the complete system being looked at from the design point of view, which I totally agree with. So, Mr. Pradeep Gupta, when we started this forum, we used a byline, value through discourse. And indeed, that is happening. We have, the last year, collected a lot of value. And viewers, it's all available in our articles and it's available in our videos. You're welcome to look at that. And as I mentioned, that the profiles of all our speakers are there in the show notes of our videos. So you can get in touch with them directly and they will be able to help you. So, Mr. Pradeep Gupta, I'll thank you for being with us today. And more importantly, thank you for the tremendous contribution you have made to this forum. And in fact, the reason where we are is a large part of that is to the participants, the eminent speakers, whom you are one of the prominent ones, are contributing. So I look forward to you contributing in the future, guiding us, telling us also, and sharing your wisdom, and helping us, to help anybody who is listening to our talks or reading our articles to get something out of it. Because after all, the younger generation, which is maybe listening to what we are saying, is much more energetic. They are much brighter. I have always seen that the next generation comes out even better than the previous one, and we are, our the young Indians who are there today, they can do wonders, and they are doing wonders, in fact. So we will just talk about what we can contribute, but they can really take it forward at a much faster pace. So with that, viewers, we come to the end of this particular interview, and we thank our expert, Mr. Pradeep Gupta, for being with us. And we will bring to you more interviews from our members. I suggest that you have a look at them also as we keep uploading them. I'm sure you will enjoy that. And with that, I would say thank you very much once again to Mr. Pradeep Gupta, and bring this particular interview to an end. Jai Hind.
Thank you, General Matharu, and I wish MRO Digest and the entire team led by you very best in times to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and Jai Hind to our viewers once again.